Oh, Concord, you truly are the gift that keeps on giving. Even though Sony is light on first-party titles in 2024, aren't exactly light on the news cycle, because yesterday talked about it in a video regarding this game. Thanks to a bio that was released by Firewalk Studios, we figured out, if it wasn't obvious by the facial features and the over-exaggerated shoulder pads, Baz was indeed a transgender character. So yeah, you could go ahead and check off another box. Fantastic. Concord truly cementing itself as the wokest AAA game around because it's got stiff competition in the form of Dustborn and the rest of the Sweet Baby Inc. suite. After the release of said video and that revelation right there, we get confirmation that in fact Baz, Free Gunner Baz, I don't know, I don't really care all that much. Frankly, the character does nothing for me, nor does the game, and in very short order it won't for anybody else. But they are in fact not based on a Kim Belair, CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., but in fact a transgender singer who was also at the White House. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I seen this story pop up and it's like, you know what? We've got plenty of stuff to talk to. I don't really need to add an addendum to that video because Concord is just one of these perpetual lolcow type content. Rather subjects that just continues to snowball into something bigger and better every single day. So to touch on this first and foremost, in a simple conversational sense, because not with a 25-foot pole, not with Destiny's dick, a transgender singer who uses the name Jamila Adderley. I've never heard of you before. And the only reason that I have heard of you is because of your mental illness. Let's call this exactly what it is. You wouldn't have got to the White House. You wouldn't have been modeled after in regards to this woke-ass game if you hadn't decided to put on a wig and a bunch of makeup. Okay, can we just come around to that fact that a lot of people are weaponizing mental illness to climb the corporate ladder? Okay, cool, back to this. Confirmed that Firewalk Studios turned him into Free Gunner Baz in Concord. According to Pink News, Adderley wrote on Instagram, "I had to go for a walk because I just don't like it when PlayStation wants to turn me into the baddest knife-wielding assassin in all the land." He added, "That's right, yours truly as Free Gunner Baz in PlayStation's new multiplayer video game Concord." The Instagram appears to have been edited since it now states the baddest knife gamer whatever manual transmission that's out there. It's like, that's great, fantastic, and if you're inspired by that character, you know who in the blue hell Mia Jam is, you might want to go ahead and spring into action, because the game is not quite long for this world. Because earlier on Tuesday, frankly, the first thing that Sony did the moment that they got in after the Labor Day long weekend was lay down the edict that, yeah, there's an important update in regards to Concord, important in so much as, yeah, your services are no longer going to be required. Chances are you already heard the news. We need not bury the lead any further. Concord fans, this is from Ryan Ellis, game director at Firewalk Studios, so at least they got the guy who's at the head of this stuff to come out and take responsibility for this travesty. And we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC 10 days ago. Imagine that. Imagine 10 days. I have made more videos on Concord than they have had consecutive days in full release operation. That is absolutely wild. Think about that. This was the same studio that was just, any criticism? We can just go ahead and sweep that away. That's just those online bigots. Our game is going to be a success, and here we are. Not but 2 weeks later. Hell, not even 2 weeks later, reading out this statement. And I want to thank everyone who has joined this journey aboard the North Star. See, those words would mean more if I was one of the lucky 100 to be playing this game. Your support and passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. A very tiny world, one that you could actually fit on a desk globe. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, name one, we also recognize that other aspects of the game in our initial launch didn't land the way we intended. Yeah, you guys were anticipating thousands of people, tens of thousands, hell, even hundreds of thousands of people to play such wonderful characters like not Thane from Mass Effect 2, the broke-ass Hellboy, and Korean massage parlor lady, like, yeah, okay, cool, and Kim Belair, and fat black lady, water heater, and puffy, effeminate bitch. It's like, yeah, no, it's a big shock to everybody why your game didn't succeed. Therefore, at this time, okay, this is where we're going to come back around to this part, because I think this is important. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6th. Brother, cram in your Concord sessions, because at the end of the week, she gone. 2 weeks. 2 weeks since this game dropped, and it's gone. This is crazy. I have never seen a game nosedive this hard, this quickly. Like, obviously, there are some indie games that never crack like 2 digits in players. And you know, that's a totally different kettle of fish. Because this right here, this is so much different. This is from this is a first-party PlayStation title. They bought Firewalk Studios not but a year ago, and here they are, 2 weeks removed from the release of their first game. You could also be a year removed from their purchase of a studio to their closure of a studio. So they're just trying to leave the door open a little bit with this. Yeah, explore options, including those that will better reach our players. So what I would read into that, into a vacuum, is, yeah, perhaps we're going to, take a step back from that $40 price point to get everybody in the door on that one. Maybe we could rejigger it to be a free-to-play model. We'll soften some of the woker edges. We'll take the pronouns out of the player bios. We'll stop making this such a diversity, inclusion, and equity checklist the game. And maybe we'll just introduce some actually cool looking characters that people would want to play, run it back in a few months' time, and try this bitch up again. I highly doubt that's going to work, and especially at this point in time, because how much money has PlayStation sunk into this, and how much are they willing to start this game up again and devote another 6 months, a year to development time on top of the 8 years already? Sony's stupid, but they aren't that dumb. While we determine the best path ahead, Concord sales will cease immediately. You can get third-party versions of the game. You can get it from resellers on eBay, Amazon, but you can't buy it first party. I've looked into it. I was never going to purchase it or anything like that. Obviously not. I was not one of the fortunate 25,000 theoretical sales that are out there. But we'll be able to figure this out, because I kind of think that Sony decided to axe this because they realized that they were never going to recoup the costs, and at least, if they just shut this down, they stop making money off of it throughout the end of the year, they can write it off in taxes. They can Batgirls this bitch and at least recoup a little bit of money. But yeah, you can't buy it from any big box store unless, of course, you were like Stuttering Craig, which I've seen also today. He was going out to all of the stores in his area. What did he pick up? 2 copies from Target. They had 3 over at Best Buy. Idiot that he talked to at GameStop didn't even know if the game was out right now, which is just typical GameStop. Aside, if you will, before they became a Funko Pop dispensary, the EB Games, that's what they're called in Canada. Well, I think now they've, just changed their name to GameStop. I went down there. I used to frequent there all the time because, they kind of had the best selection. That was definitely the place to be back in the PS3, Xbox 360 days. This was at a point in time when Game Grumps was first picking up steam, okay? It was JonTron and Ego Raptor, prime Game Grumps days, and they were starting to play through Sonic 06. Notoriously crap game, okay? And I just, kind of wanted to partake, so I wanted to see, hey, if any of the local game retailers, okay, any of the resellers that were out there had a copy. But just asking around, I was over there at GameStop, and they had no idea. I was like, do you guys have a copy of Sonic 06 kicking around out here? I thought it was infamous enough to reference it in that direction. And that guy behind the counter, that 500-pound mongoloid, had absolutely no idea what I was talking about at all. And you run a game store, huh? It's the quality of people you have. Apparently, so enthusiastic about video games, you don't even know about the niche meme culture behind it. But I digress, okay? Like DSP, GameStop outlives another one, okay? So yes, sales will begin to cease immediately, and you can capitalize. And this is a big one. This is also something else that, the announcement of this clean knocked me off the chair. And this one right here, I don't know, bust through my floorboards and knock me even further to the ground. Offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 or PC. If you bought a digital copy through one of the storefronts, through PlayStation itself, or through Steam, they'll just go ahead and refund you. Yeah, if you purchase the game on PS5, PlayStation Store, or PlayStation Direct, a refund will be issued back to your original payment method. Same with Steam and same with Epic. All you need to do is just go ahead and contact them, and you'll get your 40, or if you were dumb enough to pick up the digital deluxe edition, 60 clams back. Or if you have a physical copy, you can walk back to the store and they'll give you back your $40, which I wouldn't do that right now because, all of this stuff is still breaking even at this point in time. Imagine at the point in time when the servers officially go offline, then yeah, they'll probably get the edict down from head offices after they're done collaborating and ironing out all the issues with Sony. Then you'll be able to get your refund, because if you go right now, which I wouldn't imagine anybody who was super enthusiastic about Concord is watching an anti-Concord video. It's not so much anti in so much as just laughing at this obvious failure that anybody with two brain cells rubbing together could see was on the horizon from the moment that this was reintroduced to us. Because just think of the life cycle of this game, at least when it was in everybody's public and conversational consciousness. From the end of May to the beginning of September, this game had an open beta, a closed beta, and 10 days in full release operation. And that's all it could stand. And yeah, September 6th, that's the drop dead date. That is amazing. 2 weeks. 2 weeks in release. I've never seen a game like this collapse so fast. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like I was saying, the Sony's obviously trying to recoup at least a little bit on the tax front, because that's all they can do. They crunched the numbers, I would imagine, over the weekend, unless something spectacular came out that, all of a sudden it was a slow start, okay? Now thousands of people are checking this out. They decided, axe this shit, I would imagine probably before the long weekend, and especially with its big peak. What was it, 170 some players Friday evening, and it never came close to that again. So they just decided, yeah, man, we got to axe operations right here sooner rather than later. We can't afford any more server space because this just isn't even paying at this point in time. Like, I don't even like Twitch as a platform like that. I think that they're total trash, and a lot of their content creators are absolute brainlets. But even the cost that they shoulder to just start up a stream, I heard Maximilian Dude talk about it, okay? If he was to front the cost for the type of streams that he runs, I forget the specific numbers and all the different, tech side of stuff that he runs. For a 4-hour stream of his, it costs thousands of dollars. I can't remember the full number, but just for the bitrate that he uploads at, just at an 1080p stream, thousands and thousands of dollars, regardless of the number of people tuning into the stream. So that is a fantastic burden that a lot of these companies need to shoulder just in order to host the content. That lets you know, just these hasty decisions from Sony, Concord wasn't doing anything. There was no hope for this one. We'll just go ahead and take it offline. Maybe we can retool it a little bit, maybe recoup something, because we don't know any of the particular numbers. We know that the game has been in development thanks to one of the key character designers coming out and saying, I've been on the project for 5 years, and they've been working on it at least for 3 years prior to me being here. So that's where we get that 8-year development cycle. 8 years for 10 days. Wow. What was the budget for this? I'm sure we're going to find that out when the tax documents come out. But when it came to marketing, yeah, this game, the way that they're trying to spin it right now, and there's going to be a lot of revisionist history on this, okay? We're pushing this relatively hard. Not quite as big as like a big franchise release or anything like that, but it still was reasonably consequential. And another reason that we know that is because they were supposed to be a part of. And this is going to be interesting too, because there's this whole Amazon Prime show secret level, which is going to take different cameos and different references to fairly substantive video games that are out there. And hell, the minds behind the original Deadpool, Tim Miller, Love, Death, and Robots, Steve Wilson. There's some pretty big names behind this, and yeah, it looks, pretty intensive, right? Because at Gamescom earlier this year, okay, just last month, I think that, yeah, it was at the tail end of August, right? And I can't believe we're in September already, but whatever. Coming to Amazon, MGM Studios, and Blur Studios, the orchestrations of Netflix acclaimed animated anthology. Yes, I Love, Death, and Robots Secret Level consists of 15 short story episodes influenced by the colorful characters and worlds of video games, including Armored Core. Okay, that could be interesting, telling big stories about, giant robots, Gundams, that's cool, Dungeons and Dragons, well, that kind of makes sense, Warhammer 40k, Mega Man, God of War, Unreal Tournament, The Outer Worlds, now you're getting a little bit more niche, Pac-Man, okay, there you are, you're coming back around, and Concord, I beg your pardon? Sony was banking on this game's success. Don't let, in the next couple of days, all of the revisionists, okay, and especially this idiot, okay, IGN writer Stella Chung claims PlayStation never believed in Concord. I beg your pardon. They're trying to put it on the same level as God of War, for Christ's sakes, okay? Secret level, okay? The folks over there, Amazon, we came over to Sony, is like, what games would you like to promote? Okay, obviously God of War, it's a system seller. Ragnarok was huge a couple years back. What else? What What else? You want to do Horizon or something like that? I know you're trying to shill this Astrobot thing. That'll be cool. No. We want to go with Concord. What? Yeah. No. PlayStation never believed in Concord. Never believed in Concord. That's why women were a mistake. IGN writer Stella Chung made the absurd claim that PlayStation never believed in Firewalk Studios' Concord game after it was shut down less than 2 weeks after it was released. Well, is it that Sony didn't have any faith in Concord, or was it that IGN didn't even like the game? Because they're infamous for 7 being a mid-game, and anything below that is absolute tripe. But your outlet right there gave Concord a 7. Same thing that they gave to Star Wars Outlaws, which is going through its own thing right now. More on that in the very near future. Dustborn, I think less said about that, the better. Yeah, Flintlock. Oh, Tales of Kenzara Zhao. Starfield, which just celebrated its 1-year anniversary. That's crazy to think about. Yeah, for spanking. So bad that it closed down a studio. Oh yeah, and Stellar Blade, which when it comes to big successes for Sony, first/second party wise, yeah, it's only behind Black Myth Wukong, which is a historic victory for them. But yeah, no. Sony never had any faith in this game. Neither did IGN either. Firewalk Studios game, director Ryan Ellis put out the blog post that we read through at this little bit earlier. Following the announcement, Chung wrote, "My heart breaks for Firewalk Studios." Oh, now this is the cycle? Are we just expediting this entire process where now we can go, oh, if you're going to be dancing on the grave of a dead game, you know that these people have families and they need to feed their cats, because let's be completely honest, none of these freaks have families. They're just a bunch of SJW weirdos with a game developer's degree and a whole bunch of crippling student debt, thinking that socialism is going to be the answer. The fact that these people are very likely to be unemployed in the next couple of weeks, I don't care. You made a shit game. You're bad at your job. You get fired. Shit like that happens every single day. I'm not going to shed a goddamn tear because a bunch of useless fucks got fired. Ooh, big shock. The fact that this wasn't even given at least 6 months to properly sit through a season and adjust as a proper live service game is insane to me. We've never seen a game come out to such a dwindling player base when it's a live service game. But Sony's just supposed to host this disaster? That's why you work at IGN. Okay, that's why I don't know what's going to end up closing first, Firewalk Studios or IGN. Because when game companies start to listen to idiots like you, Stella, okay, Jason Schreier, like this asshole, pointing out that, oh, look at that, it's pretty wild that a 2021, the new game studio still looks like this. What, functional, passionate, like Rare back in the day, like id back in the day? Take that picture outside of a studio in Osaka or Tokyo, and yeah, they're going to have a similar demographic and a similar makeup as well, analogous to their geographic region. You know what I see right there in that picture? A whole bunch of people passionate about video games. You know what I see from the picture of goofy-ass Stella? Somebody that always wants to play the victim. Somebody who's more excited to be a part of the current thing than to actually be in the video game industry. When these freaks start to get people's ears, then you end up with failures like Concord. You end up with failures like Dustborn, Star Wars Outlaws, Flintlock, Tales of Kenzara Zhao, Starfield, Forspoken. You don't end up with successes like Stellar Blade. Big shock on that one, and that's the lesson for 2024. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.